Let me tell you something. I am going to bring you fabulous, fantastic flight experiences, and the YouTube viewers are going to pay for it.
Andrew Tate done convinced these passport rules to go out of the country.
Okay, you see, first of all, this is what happens when you're all up in the Kool-Aid and you don't know the flavor. Andrew Tate has not convinced anybody to leave the country. Andrew Tate had virtually nothing to do with the Passport Bros. Even though he may have commented on the Passport Bros, Andrew Tate in no way convinced anybody to leave the country to go overseas at all. All up in the Kool-Aid and don't know the flavor. Second question, what is it? Can somebody please tell me what is it with these goddamn nose rings? How you got these nasty ass nose rings, boogers, mucus, snot, germs, bacteria, and mucus and snot dripping out your goddamn nose, dripping out your nose, snot everywhere. You sneeze, your ring gets stuck on the tissue. You got boogers and snot and mucus just dripping. It's like, how did this become a thing? Like, why is... You know what? I am convinced. I'm absolutely convinced. You want to hear my theory? I am convinced that these people are waking up every day, these women, and they're like, how can I make myself more repulsive today? And then they're like, I have an idea. I could stick a nose ring through my nose that has boogers and snot dripping out my face. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. I swear, I just... do these women... I understand that they're using this TikTok and they're using Instagram, right? But do these things have mirrors? Like, do they ever, like, take a look at themselves? Well, now, and listen, I know that a lot of them are doing this because they like getting dragged. But, I mean, come on, really? I mean, is this what you're every single time you're facing Big Shirley or you're facing Aunt Linda? Every single one of these damn videos. To some extent, it's like I want to stop reporting on these damn things. But to tell you the truth, it's like every single time I start watching one of these things and these women pop up looking like this, it's like I feel like Mega Man. It's like, let me start charging up my Mega Buster because I got to deal with this. Let me try to continue.
To find their wife, girlfriend, whoever. But that man that went to Brazil and he got ran out of Brazil because...
That man who went to Brazil got ran out of Brazil. Austin Holloman didn't get run out of anything. And, you know, I really wish Austin hadn't mentioned what happened. In fact, if I was Austin Holloman, what I would have done was I would have reported that trash bag who made that threat against him or who made that death wish, because it wasn't a death threat, it was a death wish. I would have reported that trash bag to the Brazilian authorities. That's number one. Then if I did decide, because he was already planning, since, you know, Miss All Up in the Kool-Aid don't know the flavor, he was already planning to go to Peru, and he canceled the Peru trip, but he ended up going to Thailand, I believe, instead. But since Miss Trashbag, who's all up in the Kool-Aid and don't know the flavor, doesn't understand that, she doesn't even know the dude's name. So what you're seeing is that these women are jumping onto the subject, but they don't even have a full control of the subject because they don't even know what they're talking about, especially considering that this is happening on TikTok rather than happening on YouTube, and they're not paying enough attention to actually understand who they're talking about. Andrew Tate had nothing to do with this. But anyway, what's the point? I don't know.
He was down there on some predator shit.
Austin Holloman in no way was down there on predator shit. And by the way, I'd also like to mention the fact I did watch that interview with the rainbow flag carrier trash bag who made those wishes, those death wishes, those negative death wishes against our brother. And the thing that I would like to point out, in the interview that I saw with her on somebody, I think it was somebody TKO, Tasha TKO or something, I actually appreciated the questions that were being thrown at her because she was on there with one of her cuck simp friends or something. I guess he was on there because he was a translator because she barely speaks English. But the thing about it is I have to appreciate the question she was being asked because one of the questions that I believe it was Tasha TKO, I think that's the name of the channel. Tasha asked her, is prostitution legal in Brazil? And the rainbow flag carrying trash bag tried to dance around the topic. And the reality was, yeah, prostitution is legal in Brazil. What's not legal is organized prostitution or pimping and this, that, and other. Now, first of all, this is what they try to do. What they try to do is they try to obfuscate the point and they try to obfuscate the arguments and they try to make everything confusing and cloudy. The reality is, he wasn't down there for that. He was not down there. At no time did I ever see him in a video talking about anything that had to even remotely do with prostitution, which, by the way, in that country is legal. What's not legal is pimping. And by the way, when I look at the out-of-context remarks, this woman on Tasha TKO, and I actually have to really thank Tasha TKO for that because I'm not going to cover the video, so this way there's no copyright infringement and I don't even have to claim fair use. One thing I have to say is the questions that she was throwing back at her were actually good questions, which let me know that Tasha TKO wasn't fully on her side because those questions were such good questions. She said there is no correlation between saying that a place has good, nice, friendly women, and there's no correlation between that and sex trafficking. There's no correlation between those two things. Oh, and let me also say this about Tasha TKO. I got to appreciate her for this. One of the other things she said, she asked that rainbow flag carrying trash that made those threats. She asked her, how many white men have you criticized and how many have you confronted about this exact same thing? And then Miss Rainbow Flag starts dancing all over the room with the argument. If you watch it, I'll try to put the link there, but you can look it up on YouTube. Rainbow Flag starts dancing and she was. And when you saw the translation or you heard the translation, it was like, wait a minute, you didn't answer the question. No, my question to you was, how many white men have you said something about this to? How many white men have you criticized? Or how many white men have you confronted over this issue? Because she had to ask the question like 3 times. But instead of simply saying, wait a minute, this is a yes or no question. Have you confronted any or not? Couldn't say anything. That lets you know right there what you're dealing with. So, by the way, so the bottom line is, because I'm going to keep this video going until I finish dishing out these hits. But what I got to say is, you're moving. Passport Bros are moving. We're global. We're moving. And the thing about it is, what is that song? Ain't no stopping us now. We on the move. No, no, no. Ain't no stopping us now. We on a groove. Okay, anyway, let's go.
And they wasn't having that. Now, allegedly, he's in Thailand. So y'all are doing all of this.
Well. Okay, you see, this is what happens when you try to sound smart and you're really stupid. Allegedly, he's in Thailand. First of all, if you're going to use the word alleged, then that means that it's alleged that he's done something. It's not alleged that he... First, if you were going to use the term allegedly, you'd be using that what you should have said was allegedly he was in Brazil for sex tourism. That's the allegation, you moron. But when you say allegedly he's in Thailand, no. He's not allegedly in Thailand. He is in Thailand. He is physically in Thailand. This is what happens when you start watching Law & Order SVU and you have an IQ lower than 10 and you try to start sounding like intelligent people. This is why you should leave these advanced pedantic words to people who actually have master's degrees, because most of them probably understand how to use these words in a sentence wherein you do not.
is to get a woman because y'all couldn't get women in the United States of America.
The sad thing about it is a lot of these dudes could get women in the United States, but guess what? Passport bros know better than that shit. They don't want no women in the United States. Partially because a lot of them are just like you.
How pathetic is that? But y'all are alpha males, right? Y'all are kings.
I don't remember any of them saying that they were alpha males. And furthermore, I've also mentioned the fact that I don't believe in using certain words to describe people. Like, for instance, predator is not a word you'd use to describe people. In the predator-prey relationship, animals prey on other animals. Those predators prey on other animals in order to get food, which basically means that they are trying to get energy by eating other animals. There is nowhere on National Geographic where you will see wolves gang-banging a deer and then eating them. You will not see the lions gang-banging a gazelle. It doesn't happen. It does not happen. The whole point of a predator is to eat the prey, not to fuck the prey, okay? So just because you're $30,000 or $40,000 a year of student loans that you took out for that worthless liberal arts degree taught you to sound like that and taught all of you to sound like robots. Just because they taught you to sound like that doesn't mean that you understand the implications of the words you're using.
Y'all run the household and just dominant, right? That don't sound dominant to me. It sounds like you couldn't handle strong-minded women.
Uh-oh. You can't handle strong-minded women. You can't handle women with sepia rings in their nose and they got boogers and snot dripping down the ring. You can't handle it because you're not man enough. You're not man enough. You know what? If you look down there between your legs, you ain't got enough to handle these fine-bodied positive Lizzos. We've got body-positive Lizzos, and you're not man enough to handle them. That's your problem. You're not no alpha male. You're a beta male. You're not man enough to handle it. You're not man enough to handle it. You don't know how to handle it. You ain't got enough between your legs to handle these body-positive women. Just because she's 200 or 300 pounds, you're supposed to be a bigger man. You're supposed to be able to handle that 200 or 300 pounds. You're not man enough. You're not no alpha. You got a small Johnson. You're not man enough to handle it.
In your hometown, in your home country, so you have to go find desperate, weak women else.
Desperate, weak women. Filipina P, I thanked her on my video when I covered the video. Filipina P let y'all have it. Here you got a cute 31-year-old female who actually looks like a 31-year-old female is supposed to look. Because, see, I think the sad thing about men, you know what I think is really sad about men in America? As men in America, our entire expectation about what women are supposed to be has been completely warped. I feel sorry for men in America, especially the men in America who grow up thinking that they're going to get married one day and they think that it's going to be as easy as finding the girl next door. And then sooner or later, and I guess maybe we have the red pill and Kevin Samuels and all this, even the Passport Bros is basically exposing it every single day. And what I love about being a Passport Bro is when we're overseas and you're sending back these receipts and we got these videos and we're on the beach and we're having a good time and we got the women who look like women, not body positive Lizzos or not sepia ring. Your hair is a mess. You remember the Nutty Professor, he was talking about your hair. I think he said something about shit locks or something like that. Those are not dreadlocks, those are shit locks. You remember Dave Chappelle when he was making fun of... No, wait. Eddie Murphy was making fun of Dave Chappelle? Yeah. So my point is our entire expectation from women, what we don't even know what to expect anymore, some of these men. They don't even know. These, I feel sorry for... Listen, everybody, listen. If you're a man and you listen to the sound of my voice, get your goddamn fucking passport. Take that $200 that you were going to use to go and buy a PlayStation 5. Get your goddamn passport and get out of this country. Go somewhere. Go somewhere where the women are women. See, let me tell you something. As a man, We don't even know what the term woman means anymore. They're literally trying to convince you men can get pregnant. They're telling you the Joker in Batman DC Comics, they're telling you the Joker's pregnant now. They're telling you this bullshit. They're indoctrinating the youth. We don't even see the truth anymore. You get your passports, man. Get out of this fucking country as soon as you possibly can. Go to a country where the women are still actually quote unquote women, where they're real women. Not this, not what you see before you. Go where you can actually see what life is supposed to be like. For me, China, Philippines, South Korea, I can honestly say just about any of those places, and especially if you're a starting passport, bro. Philippines, Thailand, those are just two, but there's others. I mean, Dominican Republic. Even if you go to some of these European countries that aren't currently being bombed by Vladimir Putin, the women there are on a whole different level, except the Western women are still a piece of shit. But I will say this, some of them are still very feminine, and they actually look, sound, smell, walk, talk like real women. Like, they actually put on perfume and smell nice. I'm not talking about the cheap-ass, fake-ass perfume they sell at Jamaica Avenue. I'm talking about, like, they actually are feminine, and they carry themselves like women should carry themselves. As men in America, you've been dumbed down so much. You've been indoctrinated so much. You don't even know what a woman's supposed to be. And that's the sad thing. A lot of these Generation Zers, not really the millennials, because fortunately we were born in the 80s and we were able to avoid this bullshit by just being born in the 80s, the late millennials. But what I got to say is the Generation Z and Generation Alpha, the males of those two generations are in trouble. You have no idea you have no idea, number one, what you're supposed to be as a man. You have no idea what you're supposed to be because they've done their best to keep fathers out of the household. They've done their best. You have no idea what a woman is supposed to be. You've been indoctrinated. You've been lied to. Please, guys, get your passports. Take that $200. Do not spend it on Xbox. Do not spend it on Xbox Live. Get that $200. Get your goddamn passport. Get it.
Women that are going to put up with your shit until they get to fucking know y'all and then run y'all out the country. Y'all are so desperate to...
If they're going to run us out of any country, they should run us out of America. Let them run these males out of America. Let them run to some other country so that they can finally understand what they've been lied to and how they've been lied to.
Control women, y'all will even date teenagers. Pathetic.
I agree.
Y'all are a joke. If you can't get respect in the USA, it ain't going to happen nowhere else. The bar is in hell and they got nanny on it.
So, boys, listen. All I can say is you got two options. You either listen to me and you get your passport, or you see this right here, you're staring at your future wife. Now, I want you to tell me right now, what's it going to be, boys? What's it going to be? Do you want to listen to me, get your goddamn passport, or do you want this right here let me rephrase that. Do you want to wake up to this every morning? You tell me. Do you tell me? Is this what you want to wake up to every morning? You tell me.
My favorite part about finding this passport bro TikTok is that they're talking about like feminism, feminist Western women in the States have ruined the world, blah, blah, blah.
Could somebody please tell me what is it with these goddamn nose rings? Please tell me that. Why? And you hear her sniffling and you hear the boogers and the snot, mucous membranes, mucosa dripping down that goddamn... Could somebody please tell me, how did this become a trend? How did this become a trend? Oh, my God.
That's funny because y'all are going to other countries where probably people's income may be lower or the value of the US dollar is a little...
Wait, people's income is lower value? Listen. Oh, my God. Ugh. It hurts. It hurts my frontal lobe hearing this nonsense. Passport, you know why they don't like us? You know why they don't like passport bros? Because they know that we make, and see, it's funny because they go from calling you broke and dusty to now you're taking advantage of somebody else's economy. The reality is we are able to go to other countries, whether it's we're working or we're expatriates and we're working abroad. Perhaps we're remote workers, digital nomads, and they are angry and jealous of us because we are getting better deals. Kevin Samuel said it himself. They hated him because he was teaching you that you could get a better deal than to be their plan B, than to be their cleanup bro. That's another, if you're new here, because I have a lot of new subscribers. I decided to stop calling men stepdads. Instead, the term is cleanup bro. Basically, imagine this. Imagine that there's been a party and you get there late and now you got to clean up. Well, that's basically what these women want you to do. They want you to accept sloppy seconds. They want you to be a cleanup bro.
Stronger. So the reason why you even have a chance with those women, because you ain't shit in your...
Uh-oh. She just said you ain't shit. You ain't shit. Here, you ain't shit. That's what they think about you. When I tell you, men, to take your $200, which is your shipping, your handling, plus your taxes and the government fees, and get your goddamn passports, I mean it. Or you know what? You want to make my day happy? You want to make my day? All I need to hear from you is, yeah, I've got my passport, I'm getting my passport, or I'm setting aside the money right now to get my passport. That's all you. If you want to make my day better, that's all you got to say. And that right there in the comments, every time you say you getting your passport, an angel gets its wings.
Country is because they're using you for your money.
Let me let you in on a little secret, ladies. Men do dangerous, dirty, and difficult jobs. They know that they are being, quote unquote, used. They are using you to have their family. They know that they're being used. But you know what? Men accept that usury. It's like a usury agreement. We'll call it a usury agreement. Men accept the usury agreement so long as they're getting what they want. Men know that they're going to be used. They understand. It's part of what's called a mutual relationship. See, you don't understand what a mutual relationship is because you're a parasite. Parasitism is when one organism uses another organism and hurts that organism. So, for instance, marrying somebody and then taking half their shit because you decide you're not in love no more. So you take half their shit, you take the kids, and then you go and get in a polyandrous relationship with somebody else. You're a parasite. Mutualism is when both organisms get together and they both benefit. I believe the other type of relationship is called commensalism, where two organisms are together, one organism benefits but does not harm the other organism that it's benefiting from. So sometimes you might have somebody who just hangs around and they don't hurt you, but they don't really do any much for you either. So that's called commensalism. But for the most part, men right now, these men are interested in mutualism. Unfortunately, because of what this country has done to our media, they are basically accepting parasitism, and they are accepting being parasited by you. And I'm here to stop that. I'm here to help stop that.
That's feminism, baby. You're mad that women in the States probably want you to take care of some bills. That's fine.
Whoa. I'm mad that some women in the States probably... Now look at her, the eye movement, the rapid eye movement, the looking up and to the left, the looking up and to... I'm mad that some women probably want me to take care of some bills. Huh?
They want you to pay for dinner, but you don't have a problem doing that over there.
Well, there's also a reason why we don't have a problem doing it over there. Well, first of all, the food is much cheaper, for one. Second of all, the food is much better, for two. Third of all, and this is the thing that y'all don't seem to get, the women overseas appreciate us, especially they appreciate it. They show their appreciation. You don't. In fact, I've posted memes before where you take a woman out on a date. Now, I'm not talking about me, but it's memes. You take a woman out on a date and she's busy taking pictures of her food, and then she cuts you out of it. She cuts you out of the photo. Or, like, they like, as soon as the bill comes, people grow crocodile arms. They don't even reach into their pocketbook to help out. And I'm not even saying that they really have to, because the thing about it is I'm a product of the 80s. As far as I'm concerned, if I take somebody out on a date, I'm paying for it. That's just how I am. I'm a product of the 80s. These new millennials and these Generation Zers, they ain't paying for shit. You'll be lucky if they take you to Applebee's for that 2 for $20 or that 2 for $30. You'll be lucky if you see that. You'll be lucky if they take you to Applebee's for those $5 wings that they serve after like 10 p.m. That salty-ass buffalo wing, those salty-ass frozen food section at BJ's buffalo wings. You'd be lucky if you even get taken out to that. Nobody's taking you out on no date. That's why you got time to be on TikTok talking shit.
Because they're still using you. You're still putting yourself in the position to be used, sir.
Sir, you're still putting yourself in a position to be used, sir. Guys, what is it with these nose rings, man? I just don't know what it is. I tell you, I can't. I just can't do these nose rings, man. I can't do them. Every time I see that, it bothers me. It just bothers me so much. It just hurts me, and it hurts me it hurts me in part of my brain that these nose rings have those boogers and snot, and they're going right through the nose, and you're picking your nose, and you got to pick around the ring. Oh my God, what is it? What's going on? Okay, for the last act of tonight, we've got this one right here. Now, as you can see, before I even get started, you already know what I'm going to say. It's bad enough that they got these nose rings, but now you got bedazzling on oh my God. It's like, why do you have an oxbow nose? Ugh. It's like got jewels and snot. Jewels and snot. Diamonds and snot. And boogers where the diamonds should be, there's boogers. It's like, why? It's like, I swear to God, they wake up in the morning, how can I make myself more repulsive today? Now, in fairness, I'm not going to play this entire video, but she's basically trying to say, oh, you're making it hard for black men to travel. It's like, no, we're not. First of all, black men have been traveling forever. So, never mind. Let me just play this shit.
If I can put in my 2 cents worth. I'm not going to talk about why y'all started doing it. I'm not going to talk about y'all bashing black women.
I didn't hear any passport bros bashing black women. I've yet to see in fact, I mean, most of the passport bros I've seen, there was a Korean chick who couldn't keep her mouth shut, so they went after her. There's a bunch of y'all who are on here of various, like, for instance, the last one I just talked about, she wasn't a black woman at all. My thing is, listen, if you want to fight the passport bros on TikTok, be prepared for the rebuttals. Be prepared for the refutals. They're coming. Regardless what color you are, you get.
Be a while, y'all have made that known. So that's not what this video is going to be about. This video is going to be about...
And then, in the rest of her face, all this metal. Like, do you realize that when you've got that much metal in your face, you're a lightning rod? Because do you understand that, like, electricity from the clouds is trying to discharge itself into the ground, into the earth? Like, there's negative ions in the clouds, and they're trying to get back into the earth, and you've got all this metal, and you're literally making yourself like a static electricity pole, and you're, oh, never mind.
Which you all have created as a result of your self-centeredness and your selfishness and your non-communal mindset. Non-communal mindset.
You see, this, you know, and I know there's some of you who are like, oh, Big truck, why do you make these videos? You know what? I like to study people. And I like to study the words that they use. Because when you listen to them, they say there's basically two ways to judge a person or a group of people. You judge them by their words, you judge them by their actions. They all sound alike, because I already know they're getting all this bullshit from these useless liberal arts classes that they're sitting through. I know what that feels like because I've sat through those classes myself. When you take to a communal mindset, you know what this is? This is that Hillary Clinton socialist bullshit about communism. It takes a village. Hey, guess what, guys? No, it doesn't. It doesn't take a village. You know what it takes? It takes individual parents making better children in order to create a village. But see, what they've got going is they've got a village where there are no fathers in the household, where there's absolute chaos at any given time, and we're seeing it every single time we turn on the news. As far as your communist, communal, what you call it, I'm not interested in giving you anything. I don't want to, and I've talked about this a couple of times because I've posted these stories. The men aren't donating semen. They're not donating money. They're not trying to perpetuate this insanity that y'all have got going on. This insanity that you've built, we're not trying to help on it. We're not trying to help. In fact, just the opposite. The passport bros are literally showing you that they're going to take their money, they're going to take their resources, they're going to take their genetic diversity, they're going to go overseas, or they're going to go elsewhere. And they're not trying to give you anything. Eventually, you'll be left with nothing but welfare check stimmies from the government, because you won't be able to build. See, you know what? The movie, and I love this reference, the movie War Games, they said the only way to win is not to play. When I'm at a casino, for example, when I go into the casino, I have no gambling problem whatsoever. If I go into the casino, I set aside a certain amount of money, and I say, you know what? This is all I'm playing, and as soon as I'm finished with that, I'm getting up and I'm leaving. $20, maybe $50. I'll play a couple of games. Honestly, I don't even like slots. I don't like casino games. I really don't. But every now and then, I might go to the casino with some friends, and they like to go to the casino. They like to sit there and play like Baccarat and stuff like that, or poker or 21 blackjack, right? Thing about it is I'll go with them just to go with them. And I have nothing else to do. So either I'll order a drink or I'll sit around and play a couple of machines just to see what it's like and try to figure out why are people doing this shit, wasting the goddamn money. Bottom line is, when I put in a certain amount of money, if I do win, if I don't win, I'm like, okay, well, I played $50. That's it. I'm gone. What you want is you want me to stay in the casino. You want me to risk more. I'm not risking anything on you because you're not worth the risk.
Okay. What I'm going to say, and I'm also talking to the diaspora of my brothers in my black community, my surrogate brothers in my black community, those known and unknown. Some of y'all have been laughing at this shit, endorsing this shit.
I believe I'm one of those that you're talking about who's been laughing at and endorsing it.
Egging it on, and y'all don't even understand that this has put you all in harm's way.
We're not in harm's way. We're not in harm's way at all. In fact, considering what goes on here in America, most of the men who end up in violent situations in America, and let's be very, very honest about this, the majority of the men in America who end up in violent situations, violent confrontations, most of it's based on you. Most of these men are getting in these fights with your baby daddies. Most of these men are getting into fights with your cleanup bros. Most of these men are depressed and in guilt-ridden issues and having problems and suffering from grief because they're going back and forth to court, but because of your shit or your infidelities. Now, and I'm not saying men aren't infidels too. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is most of their grief is coming from you dealing with you. Most of the violent situations that most of the men in this country of all races and all creeds, they're dealing with you. You women putting them in these situations. I've said this before, and I haven't heard many people reference it, I believe these women are really trying to force you to accept polyandry. I really believe it. Polyandry outside of marriage, they're trying to force you to accept it. Don't accept it. Get your goddamn passports. Get that $200 and leave. Leave the nose rings and the raptor claws and the lace fronts and the bonnets. Leave it all behind. Because if you don't, you're going to be standing in front of that judge and half your shit's going to be taken away.
Now, because of the passport bros subculture,
Wait, I'm sorry. Did she say the passport bros?
they tried to establish. Now it's a negative connotation globally.
Negative connotation globally. What she's trying to say is the passport bros are making things bad for black men. Now, I've pointed out that there are some passport pookies and passport ray-rays out there who have made things a little bit worse for black men. But in general, black men are being beckoned to go to these places. So, no, they have not made it worse in general. And by the way, a lot of these foreign people, they're not paying attention to this shit like we are. It's like a lot of them don't even have access to this stuff because they can't afford cell phones, they can't afford internet. Not to mention that in some countries, the things that we're exposed to on things like TikTok, they don't even have in their country. You probably heard in China, they don't watch the version of TikTok we have. The Chinese government makes everything educational. Everything is pro-China. There's no anti-China. There is no lasciviousness. Everything, even if they have something funny, it's usually not violent at all, but it's funny in Chinese. So that's just China. I know in Philippines, they do the exact same filtering. I know in South Korea, they do the exact same filtering. I know because I lived there. But anyway, you don't know that. But you think that the black male image is being hurt by passport bros. No, my dear, it's just the opposite. We on the move. Ain't no stopping us now. We on the move. Yo, yo, yo. Ain't no stopping us now. We on our groove. Yeah, I might have to cut it. I might have to cut like a platinum record eventually. I don't know.
It's bad enough that we got to live black and...
Live black?
You know what I'm saying? Work black and sleep.
Work black? I have a good time at work. Well, partially because I own a business, but anyway.
Black and shop black.
Shop black? I went shopping today. No, and this is no joke. This is no joke. I went to my gun store because I went there planning to buy Heckler and Koch. What was it called? The MK23 SOCOM pistol. Basically the same one from Metal Gear Solid. Only to be disappointed and find out that they can't sell that because it's not New York State compliant, because it has a threaded barrel for a silencer, and you're not allowed to have that in New York City. Now, he did offer me a USP 45, and it was a lot cheaper because the one that I wanted was $2,000. But I didn't have any problem shopping black. I walked in there. There's 3 white guys behind the counter. When I walked in there, they looked. At first, they looked a little worried, and then they softened right up because I came up to them with the phone. I was like, "Hey guys, do you sell this pistol right here?" And they were like, "Oh man, that's not New York State compliant, but I can offer you something better." And I was like, "Oh god, damn it! I wanted the SOCOM. I didn't want this stupid USP 45. I want the SOCOM. It's got a decocker on the side." So basically, if you're a paratrooper and you paratroop in, never mind. I'm not even going to tell you. No.
But now you've added another reservation for just a typical black man traveling.
All right, you know what? This is where I'm going to stop this video. If you want to, you can go on TikTok and you can listen to the rest of this nonsense. I'm going to make it very, very succinct and clear. Black men have always traveled. Black men will always travel. Black men are in the army. Black men are not in the army. Black men still travel. We are going to be just fine. Tiger Woods' father was just fine. Thurgood Marshall with his Filipino wife was just fine. Naomi Osaka's father is just fine. point is, we've always traveled. And women overseas who've been stuck with their own men and not much option, women overseas have always been attracted to us. There may be some negative connotations to any American traveler, especially white men specifically. See, y'all are focused on black men because y'all not trying to reproduce with Brad. Y'all are trying to reproduce with Pookie and Ray Ray. And the issue ultimately is now you're watching the high-earning, high-value males leaving. They're leaving because they don't want to deal with your nonsense anymore. They just don't. So they're taking their money, they're taking their resources, and they're going abroad. And they're finding better options. And it's just that simple.
If you are a single man with no children and you are earning $75,000 or more, you are now platinum. Shout out to platinum. If you're making six figures or more, you are now diamond level. If you're making $55,000 to $60,000, you are gold. You are far more valuable than you have ever been. And here's the trick. You guys don't know how valuable you are. And that is why so many of my critics and detractors are angry at me, because I am waking men up to their true value. That's why they want me shut up. That's why they want me off this. They don't, because of the impact it's having upon right-thinking men and right-thinking women. It is making it more and more, it's making it less and less possible for men to get bad deals. That's why every day I walk out in this world, I get love from men. Every single day. Shout out to the two young dudes. Hadn't even hit puberty yet. No offense, but y'all still look young to me. They could barely get the words out. Those dudes had to be 14, 15. Those men are going to have a different outcome because they're not going to accept bad deals.
To be continued.